Yo, it's your boy BLAZEDxENFERNO, and welcome to the Infernal Gaming Podcast. You can listen to this show on Apple, Spotify, and all other major platforms. If you're watching the video version on YouTube, make sure you like and comment. Enjoy the show. All right, y'all. I got a special motherfucking podcast for y'all today, man. This one's a little different, man. This ain't a gaming podcast. It's not a music podcast. This is, call it a podcast special, man. Y'all earned this one, right? You know, I know a lot of y'all are looking forward to the Monster Hunter review podcast. You know, we got a review of Val, the Indiana Jones games, and a lot of other games that we've been playing since the new year started. Listen, it's coming next. That's the next podcast. But this one, we wanted to give y'all something a little different. See how it works. I mean, maybe we'll do something else in this round. I mean, so if you were looking forward to a gaming podcast, it's coming, man. And Monster Hunter is good. Because we were recording this podcast, what's this? Fucking 2:30 in the morning. March 2nd. Yeah, I mean, you dig. All right, let's get this thing started, man. Let's get this show started. I got a lot of I got my two co-hosts that I do the music podcast with, but I also got some guests on this special podcast for y'all. The first two need no introduction. They were just on the last episode of the podcast. So if you ain't listened to that, the music podcast, make sure you go back, listen to that. My boy Warren, my boy Bird, man. You know what I mean?
What up, y'all? Squad casting this bitch, dog.
What's happening, y'all? What's happening?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then I got two other guests with me today. First one, my boy just got married a couple months ago. I was at his wedding, man. It was a beautiful thing. Shout out my boy Knox, man. We call him Knox, man. So we're going to go by Knox for this podcast, man.
Yo, what's up, people?
This is my boy. And then my last but not least, I mean, the flyest Indian bull I know, man. This nigga's a nigga for real, man. Yeah, all right. He's all right. Let me not say that. Or Black History Month over. Who cares, man? My boy Kalis is here, man, in the building, man. You know what I mean?
What's good, guys? Happy to be here, and let's get it popping.
Let's get it popping, man. Let's get it popping. So yeah, like this podcast is a little different, something a little special. But it's also very special to me and probably special to all of us being here. The conversation we're going to be having tonight is a conversation that we probably had 1,000 times, talking about stupid shit in my boy Warren's basement. I mean, this is indeed, like he said, a squad cast, man. These are my guys right here, my brothers. Yeah, I mean, I brought them on for the show because we had a nice little conversation the other day in our little group chat, and it was a really good conversation. I felt like, hey, man, we might need to have this conversation on wax and give some content to the people, man. So that's kind of what this is, and it's gonna be a great conversation. So yeah, with all that being said, today's conversation is kind of gonna be based around a video that we have all seen on Facebook that Warren had sent to us. That I'm gonna play the audio for y'all here in a second, so y'all can hear it, and then we're gonna get into it. So let's play the video, I guess, right now.
I wish that whatever percentage of men have never hollered at a girl could understand the exhilaration of it working. Like just the whole process of it when we were younger, when you didn't have cell phones. I'm talking about back in the time where you had to be like, hey, Miss Williams, may I speak to Charlene, please? And she was like, hey, how you doing? I'm doing fine, ma'am. How are you? Hold on. Charlene! You know what I'm saying? Like that time was different. Me sitting around with y'all being like, yeah, y'all, I'm gonna holler at the one in the green. Like, Chan, which one you like? Like, Fred, which, you know what I'm saying? So first we had to divvy out which ones we like, because maybe we like the same one. Or if the entire group of them was good looking, now you just gotta send the one who could break the ice. So it might be you, but like, Chan, you just go say what's up, then we all gonna come over there. But we ain't gonna really choose none. Whichever one choose us, that's how we rocking, right? Like
that's a life skill.
And so then, when you walk over and you come back and you like, I got them digits. Like she either wrote it on your hand or she wrote it on a piece of paper. That was it. Like, and you know how many times I sat in the mirror and said, hey, I'm RC. Hey, nice to meet you before I went to the dance? I practiced that jump because I wanted to know how she was going to see my face when I told her this, right? And of course, women want that, right? Because for them, it feels good to be wanted in person. Yep. The dudes who are under 25 who don't want to do it, they're stupid because it'll actually put you ahead of the game because everybody got a dating app now. Now, here's the other piece of it of why dudes don't like to do it and women want it. Men don't handle rejection well. We had to handle it because that was the only life we knew, right? Like I had an ugly homeboy, he'd shoot at 10s all the time because he said the worst they could say is no, which is true. He taught me. Mm-hmm. Like women understand that like it's gonna be obstacles to finding love and adversity to find love, and they really want love. Men are so damn stupid, we're just like, if I gotta get rejected to get to it, I don't want it. And so instead of them being like, hey, she could tell me no, they're scared to even approach it because if you tell me no on this app or you tell me no on this phone or in Instagram, it's not really like you told me no. You're just telling a profile picture of me no. I can deal with that. And I think like that's why the world is effed up, man, because man, if they could know what it felt like for that girl to, and then too the numbers even be fading and you look at that thing and you'll dial that number 15 times and just change that one number that faded just so Charlene mama answered the phone. Mm-hmm. Man, I wish I was 15 again, boy.
All right, so y'all just heard that clip. That clip is from the Pivot. Shout out the Pivot podcast, whatever that is, man. I don't know what it is, but I'm shouting it out because if you want to watch it for yourself, it will be in the description of this podcast. But that's kind of going to be the conversation starter right there. And it's going to kick it off for the podcast. So I'm going to kind of hold my opinion for a second. I kind of want to see what because they was having a good conversation. So I'm going to pass this joint to Warren. And then, we're going to see where it goes from there. So Warren, go ahead and take this joint.
I just want to first give credit where credit is due. Like, shout outs to Bird for like inspiring the idea of taking the conversation that we was having in the group chat and like saying like, hey, we should probably record this and be a thing where we can actually have, because at first we was like, we should probably be on call to kind of like have this kind of like conversation in person. Right. But like, similarly enough, it's kind of like the same concept. We're kind of all on this call right now, being able to kind of discuss it with each other. Through voice and whatnot. So like shout outs to Bird for like, having the idea to kind of present this out to the audience as a whole, because I think this is an important, not necessarily, well, it is important, but also I think a comprehensive kind of discussion I think we should all be willing to have in regards to like, our attitudes about like navigating relationships and dating in the current landscape that we're in right now. And I'm grateful that like even in me posting the video online, like I had the intention of like wanting to spark discussion, and that is exactly what I got. I was thankful for Knox to be able to like watch the video and have his own unique perspective and takes on it that kind of like led its way to having a good comprehensive discussion within the group chat setting. And I'm gonna like pretty much start off similarly to how I sort of like framed it in that in the group chat, where I was like, I can see where it's coming from, but to me, it's coming from a perspective of overglorification and romanticizing of an era of when that was like the only way in which you had to rely upon meeting women in your locality and such. And that's not to say that it's wrong or anything. Like, I don't want my viewpoint to be misconstrued as, hey, what they did back then was wrong. What we're doing right now is the correct way. I think each approach and like methodology has its benefits and drawbacks, of course. But truthfully, I just kind of I'm a bit exhausted of not just, the clip itself, but just the pervasive narrative, especially in like, common parlance, how we over romanticize the meet cute, being able to like meet the person whom you want to date in person, as if that's the only valid way to go about, meeting people for potential romantic intent. I personally don't think that there's anything necessarily wrong per se, at least in theory, with meeting somebody online and dating. All the things that people often say that like you're shielding yourself from, or you're not necessarily developing the type of skills for. I think we overlook that. Hey, in an ideal sense, if you're meeting somebody online, it will eventually translate to you having to meet them in person. And the rejection and all the things that you kind of had to experience are still there for you in, these sorts of online interactions. It's just probably in my opinion, coming at you in a more efficient and a lot of times more quicker fashion than it would be when you were just kind of like meeting people off the streets or in certain particular settings. I'll start there, and then like I can probably rebut any sort of instances or my own personal critiques of that particular method. But that's where my stance is, at least in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And Bert, you got something you got to add to that? Because I feel like you had something you had to add.
Or I would want to hear from Knox, because he was the first person to
Right.
respond to my perspective when it came to that.
Yeah, let Knox have at it next.
Go ahead, Knox.
All right, bet. So, like Warren said, I came at it after listening to that video, agreeing a lot with what Ryan Clark was saying, as in having to meet somebody in person rather than online helps you deal with that sort of thing of rejection. And then also, there's just a different kind of thrill you get when you kind of muster up that courage to go up to somebody that you don't know and try to strike up a conversation. And just from my experiences, a lot of times whoever you are trying to strike up that conversation with, nowadays they actually appreciate that. I will caveat that in saying my wife, her and I, we met online. We met on Tinder, and
I was gonna say that too, and the thing's like, hey, wait a minute, nigga.
yeah, exactly. We were an online meet, and it's not like I would have had a problem going up to her in person if I met her. It's just that we just never were in the same space, even though we lived like 2 minutes from each other. It just was online dating gave us that opportunity to meet where it just didn't happen organically. But I will say, my ex before my wife, we met in person at the airport where I just saw her and I just walked up to her and I was just like, "What's up?" And was able to
Chris
strike
Brown,
that conversation. I did hit her with a yo to come over, and she did.
And then you started crumping in front of her, and she looked at it like it wasn't sexual harassment.
I didn't start dancing, but I mean, she definitely was caught thrown off guard because we made the eye contact, and that's the biggest thing too that comes with having that experience of meeting people in person. You can kind of pick up on social cues where that's developed over time. So I feel like doing that more, you build that that equity of okay, I know how to read a situation, how to read a person, to know when I can approach them and when I can't. Like if I see somebody walking down the street I think is attractive, but I mean they're clearly busy or they got their headphones on or something, that's not a person that you really want to approach. However, on the flip side, a lot of times you just gotta shoot that shot because it's like, when will I ever see you again in my life if I don't take this opportunity now?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the mindset that I built up, through college and on. It was just like, if I don't say something now, I'm never going to see this person again. So why not just go say what's up?
Yep.
Yeah.
Why not let it fly?
Yeah, that's my mindset with that shit too, man. If you get, because I think a lot of men they're afraid of rejection. Like rejection is the main thing that stops them from, kind of approaching women a lot of times. And the thing I tell a lot of people, and I used to tell myself all the time, is like, I'm never going to see this chick again, dog. So if I get rejected by her, like, who gives a fuck? I mean, like, I'm never going to see you again, dog. Like, you probably will never even remember this encounter. I mean, and I probably won't either. I mean, depending on which way it goes. Now, if it's good, then
Now my rebuttal to that circumstance is, what exactly is it that draws you to? This is more so probably reflective on necessarily my sentiments and approaches. So it's probably totally different from the field in general. But I ask because I just want to kind of get your perspective on this. What is it exactly that draws you to wanting to make that initial contact with somebody on the street?
multiple instances of eye contact where, hey, maybe, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes you can catch someone looking
Yeah,
at you
you
and
catch the
something
mutual
about you
vibe.
caught them off
Yeah.
guard. But if we
Mhm.
keep making eye contact and you know I'm not moving around, you're not moving around, I
Might
think
as
that's
well.
usually a good indicator right there.
Yeah.
But I'm not less looking at the indicator, but more so on the lines of what is the motivation? Like are you drawn to this person simply because you're attracted to them?
All right, bro. Hold up. I gotta say, if you gonna phrase it like that, Warren, are you simply going to talk to them because you're attracted to them? Bro, what do you do the first thing you see somebody on the social media like dating app besides read their profile? What do you do after that? You either swiping
Read
right or left.
no. I read everything else as well.
But even
Like,
still,
which is why I say like I think my sentiments can be a bit unique in that regard because it's like there's
Mhm.
one thing where because my habits are more along the lines of sure you're attractive and everything like that, but if I see literally that it's nothing else beyond the fact that you're attractive, I'm swiping left. Like I don't
That
care that you're attractive.
but then you
But
might miss out on something that could be great because just going back to my wife, she didn't have any bio on her Tinder. It literally was
right,
just
right.
a link to her Instagram page, which was private. So I really at
Mhm.
first I thought she was a catfish. I was just like, somebody could just be using your pictures.
Mhm.
But what drew me to swipe right was based solely on that I was attracted to her physically. Because
And
that's how I operated on the dating apps was like, I'm not going to swipe right or left unless you visually catch my eye when you pop up on the screen. So that's
Mhm.
the same thing in person where like if I see somebody, I'm just like, I'm attracted to that person visually, then
Mhm.
I will say, okay, do I want to shoot my shot or not? So I think for me, it's just like, okay, that's what's driving the whole approaching that person in person, like on the street or whatever. It's just like that person just caught my eye. So I want to see what that's about.
and I'm
Mhm.
starting to see like I'm a bit of an anomaly in that regards as well because the way I sort of kind of look at it is if we give everybody like I understand what you're saying and to an extent you are correct where it's like you're for every person who I'm literally like there's nothing else there but just the pictures and everything like that theoretically speaking I'm denying myself the potential opportunity to know that there could be somebody that does fit what I'm looking for. They just haven't expressed it in their on their profile or anything like that. So like, but the way I kind of rationalize it is that if I give everybody the benefit of the doubt to that extent, I just be swiping right on everybody. I
Mhm.
I value those people who are actually willing to be expressive and like not just like be detailed about like at least the qualities of like height, weight, belief system, all these other type of like whether they drink or anything like that, all those types of stuff that you can see on their profile. But like elements of like showing you what you value, how do you think those particular things, answering the prompts. Like I actually care about those particular things, and oftentimes I don't get that from like just an in-person interaction. I like
And
it's often like it's a crapshoot in the dark that a lot of people I think sure they might enjoy that, but to me I think it has its drawbacks that we often don't necessarily like, try to acknowledge.
you're right in that aspect, bro. But put it this way. We all have people on our social media that we see post these inspirational ass quotes that ain't really about that shit. It could be the same
Mhm.
thing with a bio. So like
Mm-hmm.
what somebody is putting in a bio, that's ideally what they, you know, like think of and stuff like that. You
Oh,
don't know
honestly,
if it's
that's
facts.
facts. That's facts for real, for real. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people who say that they're this and they are absolutely not that. I've experienced that for sure.
Yeah, man. And it's like I said when we was talking in the chat about this, like I this for all of us, I feel like it's gonna be both ways because our generation, I really feel, is the last generation of the typical like going and speaking to somebody because and it's I mean it's not like the internet hasn't been out like majority of our lives and shit like that, like to the way it is, because it has. But dating apps are a man-made thing. So end of the day, like if someone never created the internet or never invented that shit, you know what I'm saying? We would never have had that. So
Mm-hmm.
Warren, either way, you would have had to break through whatever issue. And trust me, it's like I said, like me, I'm a 5'4", bald dude at 31 years old. You know what I'm saying? So rejection can be a thing just based off of just me walking up and me. Y'all know me, I got full confidence. I don't got no issue whatsoever. I got over that shit when I was like little. But dating apps, it can fabricate some things, and I definitely appreciate the rush. Like, and because you said it, Knox, before, you called it a rush. Ryan Clark, he put it in terms of a rush. When you succeed, you know what I'm saying? Like getting numbers, whatever, you feel, and I ain't even gonna say like it's a game or whatever, but you feel more confidence within yourself. Like it goes farther for you. You know what I'm saying? And dating apps, it's definitely some pluses with dating apps because when I started using them, and I feel like out of our friend group, I probably was the first one. I said, yo, this broadens our horizon because now we're not confined to our area where we're growing up. You know what I'm saying? Now we can talk to women on the other side of the country. Now we can, you know what I'm saying? And we all have the same intent. Instead of, getting on MySpace, Facebook, whatever, and just adding random ass people, because that's weird. Now we know that, yo, I'm trying to date somebody, yada, yada. So that's the positive in that. But with that, when you're on those apps, you're trying to sell yourself. It's kind of the same thing like when you meet somebody in person, but when you're in person, you're actually on those dates. Now in a dating app, you can go on those dates as well, but that's after you already sold yourself through conversation. And that's fine because you can find yourself a little more comfortable and stuff like that. And in person, it's like I said, if somebody's shallow or whatever, I can already tell that they're shallow. I can see how they teeth really look in real life. You know what I'm saying? I can smell their breath right in front of me when they talking they shit. You know what I'm saying? Instead of me showing up and after talking to them on a dating app, now I'm invested. You know what I'm saying? And then I meet them and then they breath smell like shit. And I've had it happen. You know what I'm saying? I've had it happen, bro. Girl cool as shit came through, you know what I'm saying? Breath smell like shit. And I couldn't bring myself, and honestly, I wasn't as invested to like say, yo, girl, your breath stink. I felt like that could be a stranger that could turn on me and stab me, because nigga, who you talking to? You know what I'm saying? Like you never know where you're going from with that, so, or what you're gonna get from that. So it's definitely pros and cons. Which way would I lean? Like I told you before, Warren, I never really was the I'm gonna talk to a girl in person off the rip just because I feel like it type dude. I am now. I am now. I feel like I developed more into that because having had experience that in doing it when I was younger, you know what I'm saying? Now I just realize, bro, I'm an adult. It's yes or no. Like end of the day. With like instead of playing these games, putting all my business out there for no reason, you know what I'm saying? Um, Yeah, it's benefits to both. It's benefits to
Okay,
both.
Kailas, which way would you lean?
Me personally, I feel like this whole concept of like getting to know someone, it changes every generation. Like there was a whole generation where their only contact with people was through letters.
Yep.
So it's like every time something changes in society, like everyone tries to rechange how people meet each other. It's just going to keep moving again and again and again. It, I just
And
feel
you'll
like
find, my bad,
what's
go
that?
ahead.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say though, like some people play on that nostalgia aspect of it too, where like you'll meet someone today and they'll be like, "Oh, I miss when people would write letters," and like, "Oh, I wish
Right.
someone would write me a letter." To where Ryan Clark is saying like, "Oh, we need to just be talking and meeting people in person instead of on the dating apps." So that's all I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's my issue too, as well. It's like the over romanticization of it,
Right.
and ultimately that almost, it's like, I think the part that stuck out to me in that video clip was kind of like, him framing it as like we're kind of effed up today because we have these sorts of things, where it's like, and in our group chat I said like, listen, I think you can strike a balance into all this, because it's like there are people that are literally on these apps and it's like they almost have zero intention to like meet people in real life, and
Mm-hmm.
that I think is not a good thing. Is what, like, the purpose of this is to eventually translate it into real life situations where you can, like, learn to actually talk to people and whatnot. I think it's the apps like this, similar to what Birds was saying. We are the generation where I call us like bridge millennials, because we kind of like were there prior to the internet age and were able to kind of grow up and cross over into this digital age that we're kind of in right now, compared to like
Yeah.
kids who where online interaction was just their norm because that always existed for them. We're reminiscent of a time where in which that didn't exist and then it became a thing whilst we were kind of like growing up, but we still remember how it was before that and can therefore thrive in spaces without it.
Yeah.
So it's like, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and I mean, not to disrespect nobody younger than us and stuff like that, because I already know how it's like the OGs always feel like they know what they know, like all that shit. Nah. Because end of the day, everybody does go to school. You do see a pretty girl over there, however your approach may be, it's people out there that take it. But from what we mean, like mostly as adults, like you mostly hear it as like bar culture. And to me, that never was me. Like, oh, I'm at a bar. Maybe it like Kailas was saying, like if you make consistent eye contact, yeah, that's one thing. That's like a no brainer. Go ahead, shoot your shit. But I'm not finna bother nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's always
some
been
girl.
my thing too, as well. That's like if anything, it's less about like if anything, I'm kind of like the reverse of what you've experienced, where it's like you were so used to approaching things with the app, and then now you kind of like matured to like, I kind of like going out and meeting people on their like in the real world. Whereas like I've experienced doing that, and I've could become more accustomed to like the online approach as a much more convenient and efficient way to kind of. But then I think it's also due to like our approach to what exactly we want out of relationships. Whereas for me, it's always been about building actual connection, friendship, and then using that as a springboard to potentially mean something else. Whereas other people just kind of like go in with the intention of like, we are working our way towards relationship, like, the whole, the phases, the talking stage and all that kind of stuff. That necessarily, at this current juncture in my life, that doesn't necessarily suit me. But when it comes to like, meeting people on the street and everything, I'm just overcome with, I guess, maybe an internal anxiety that like, I could be harassing them, or I could be doing this or doing that. And I don't go to places where also like social settings where in which that's kind of seen as acceptable, like bars or clubs, because that's never been my scene. But like people who approach people in the grocery store or at like the gym, I always kind of like filter through like, okay, would I want to be approached in places like that? And the answer is usually no. So it's like it's hard for like listen, it is a skill that you acquire to know when to sort of do it, and I'm just kind of just like, I just have like a much more convenient method that kind of like, if anything, I always looked at the apps as a means of like initiation has always been the hardest part for me. Middle and closing, fantastic for me. The apps take care of initiation well for me really quickly. It cuts out that middleman.
I don't know. I think it's just about how you do it, though. You know what I'm saying? Like that initial introduction. Because I guess I'm on the opposite side of that spectrum where it's just like, listen, I'll approach somebody at a grocery store. I mean, walking down the block, coffee shop, wherever you at. Like, if I'm feeling you, I'm feeling you. And like I said before, I don't know if I'll ever see you again. So why not just take the shot? You know what I mean?
Don't you think that's a little bit of like fatalistic language though? It's like the whole I don't know if I'm ever going to see you again, but it's like for me it's like, dog, there's like a billion of them out there in the world. Like,
I mean,
if I don't get to you, I'm gonna get to somebody else. It's like this. There's a lot.
It could be viewed that way. It could be viewed that way for sure. But I mean, I guess that's just something that I'll say to myself internally to give me that boost to say, just go ahead and do it.
Okay, I see you.
So like that's the thing that will like level set me to be like, okay, approach this person because it's just like, this is it. This is your one chance.
This is your moment.
Do you operate out of like, just pretty much like kind of similar to like we was talking about earlier, where it's like, this person could be that person. This person could be the perfect person. This person could be the quote unquote one. Like, is that like the internal messaging that you have to tell yourself when it comes to like making these sorts of approaches?
Not so much that this person could be the one, because sometimes you just want to see what's up with them. I don't want to get too crazy with my language here, but
Because he's a
sometimes
married
you just want,
Man, listen,
right.
you can be as crazy. You can be as
But
crazy as
sometimes
you want on this podcast, man.
I was just gonna say,
Say what you
sometimes you
want,
feel
man.
like, sometimes you just see somebody and it's like, I just want to
Sharpen my iron.
experience
You wild.
what that person could be. So why?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's never like this person could be my wife or whatever. It's just like I'm feeling you. That's all, And yeah, I don't even know how to explain it sometimes, because I think I said this in the group chat too. It almost like, I get it. It feeds the ego when you accomplish that goal of like getting to like somebody's information or whatever when you approach them on the street. But then for me, it was kind of almost like that hunter nature where it's just like, okay, I'm on the prowl, and mostly
That's
that happens
crazy.
like when I'm on like at a bar or something in that kind of setting. But I remember times going out with my guys and I'm like, listen, I'm on the prowl. I'm trying to see what's out here. I'm getting me something. And it's nice when you go home with nothing. Sometimes it's nice you go home with nothing, you just chalk it up to the game.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I said this in the chat when we first started talking about this. Like, when Ryan Clark was going over to like him calling like his girl and her mom picked up and all that, like that made me think back to like when I was in high school, I had to call my girlfriend's parents and stuff like that, her grandmama pick up, and it's like the trials that you had to go through, and it's also part of that rush. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, you have to be well mannered and stuff like that. Hi, how you doing, ma'am? This is Russell, yada yada. Is so and so there? And then because they can easily hang up, like, little nigga, call him out, something like that, call him my
For real.
daughter, like. But if you present yourself in a certain way, you make it to that goal, which is to speak to your girlfriend or the girl that you're trying to pursue and stuff like that. It kind of gave me goosebumps thinking of that, because I don't know of that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody has cell phones now, so you're not calling like a home line or anything like that. So yeah.
Let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this. What is the feeling that you kind of sort of get when you experience it, like you got a match online?
So when I first got on dating apps, it was a oh shit. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like a like we was kind of talking about. Like, you have some people out there that just be swiping right, swiping right, swiping right. So it could be one of those, or like, all right, it's something I can work with. That's how I see it. You know what I'm saying? All right, something I can work with. Let me see what's up. I don't really like. The only time I like maybe get excited is if it's like a baddie for real, or if it's somebody who maybe they have a bio that is in. Yeah, this is to your credit, Warren. Maybe it's a bio that, like, they saying everything. You know what I'm saying? But even then, it's just all right, something I can work with. I don't really have no really high set expectations now with girls that I speak to in person after having those conversations, because it moves faster in person. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't got to worry about them being at work. No, they right there in front of
Right,
you.
the responses and everything like that. You got to work
Yeah,
timing and shit like that. Okay.
exactly. So with that, you already know where your expectations are, as opposed to if you just see a pretty face on a dating app and you talking to them and then it's dry. Another thing I gotta say, yo, if y'all out there using dating apps, can y'all stop putting in your bio, I don't even know why I have this. I don't even know why I'm on this. Man, you know exactly why the fuck you on them, John. Like, just
Yeah,
be
man.
honest.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
exactly why you
man.
on them, John. So
Yeah. You know what I be thinking in my head every time I see that shit? Bitch, you're washed, dog. You're washed, man. You fuck out of
Yo.
here.
Yo.
I see that shit. I'm like, man, this bitch is washed, dog. Talking about some, I don't even know why I'm here. You know why you
yeah,
here, dog. Let's get it popping, dog. Let's get it
yeah,
popping. Let's do what it do. You know what I mean?
exactly. Ain't no need to make it like you think you better than.
Above all this, yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's a turn off. Like, bye. You
The
know what I'm
bitter
saying?
profiles are definitely a turnoff. I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But
It took
let's, it kind of like, what you were saying and like a little bit of what I was mentioning in the chat as well. But I kind of almost look at it as like a little bit of the best of both worlds in like in trying to not necessarily impress, but just sort of gain the attention and favor of somebody new through your word. And at one point it is almost like writing a letter, because it's through text messaging, you're just being able, you got to find ways to kind of drum up a conversation literally out of nothing. We don't acknowledge how difficult it is to kind of meet strangers. I think ultimately speaking, if we all had a collective acknowledgement of recognize that listen, this shit is tough, and this is awkward, and we gotta just chug on through this if we're going to get something out of it. And what I was saying in the group chat is, I think, listen, whether you're doing it out there or online, game is game. If you can spit game and be able to get the attention and earn just the at least base level trust of somebody that you're just meeting on the street, and can translate that to okay, being able to communicate with somebody effectively enough for them to want to give you okay, let's move off this app and actually start texting each other in real life. I think it's a different kind of game, sure, because I think some people are more creative in their writing than they are in person, or some people are okay, once we have that a little bit of a rapport, then I have something to kind of work with when we do have those in-person meetings. Because for me, it's always been about matching the vibe sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's listen, I don't think, if anything, it's not necessarily a loss in having this sort of medium be not just an option, but a ubiquitous option for people to kind of utilize as well. Listen,
They just made niggas bring out the dictionary, bro. Everybody don't know what the fuck that mean, bro.
listen, this nigga not use the term ascertain in the fucking group chat, all right? I don't have none of this, okay? I'm allowed to use big words
Niggas
too,
flexing their degrees and shit. Oh man.
I didn't think that was too bad of a word, or too big of a word. Ascertain.
No, I was okay, this is a sophisticated conversation now. Niggas using ascertain now. Okay, buddy. But honestly, to me, listen, game is game. It should be able to translate to whichever medium in which you're doing this, and the fact that this is just so abundant for us to kind of sort of use at this point, I don't necessarily look at it as a bad thing, so long as, again, the only bad thing about it is it's humans using this, so we're bound to fuck it up at some point or another.
Mm-hmm.
I can express to you the downsides that come along with going, meeting people out in the wild, but again, the downsides aren't because meeting people out in the wild is a bad thing by its own nature. It's just that humans do this shit and they find a way to fuck shit up anyway.
Yeah, 100%. But I remember, Warren, because I was the one that was telling you about dating apps, and remember you were like, maybe when I'm on a trip in this state or whatever, I'll use it to get some pussy. You know what I'm saying? So you the other side, and now you see what Young Bird was talking about.
Listen, it's a growing process, and now I want you to get on what I'm talking about and get with women that are older than you, is what I'm saying.
Nigga, I'm not. All right, y'all.
Listen, we can continue that conversation later, but understand, okay, we are helping each other out here. You was helping me out, and I didn't see the light until later. I'm just saying I'm helping you out, and then eventually you will see the light, and then you will shake my motherfucking hand at the end of the day, okay?
All listeners, if you got a single granny out there, Warren probably smashed. I'm just saying,
nigga,
bro.
Fuck you, all right?
You know what I'm saying? If you ever saw your granny,
I'ma snuff you, nigga.
With the hospital bracelet on, you know what I'm saying? Warren probably
snuff you, nigga.
That's all I'm saying,
you
man.
better not come back to Philly, nigga. I'ma snuff you.
You know the reason why most grannies had that plastic covering on their couches?
Oh God.
Yeah, nigga, you nasty. Oh, that's nasty.
Bro, you ever sit on them bitches when it's hot as fuck outside and the sun shining on it?
I don't know why. Tell me.
Use your imagination, Derek.
All right.
Just say it.
Cause she be squirting.
Man, it's a grown man podcast. Just like this take I'm about to have. I'm about to get my shit off real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta let the future nigga get up in here, man, with this joint. You know what I mean? You know, I ain't never had my dad hug me and shit like that. Yeah, I mean,
That's what, though.
I ain't never have a father to hug me and tell me I was doing good, nigga, man. So you know what I mean? Nah, I'm gonna hold off what I was about to say. But look, I gotta catch up to where y'all at in the conversation. Right. So I'm gonna start off by saying I like this conversation. I like all the different takes. One thing that I say with all this new shit that's going on, because I also met my significant other, Rachel. I met Rachel. I don't know why I said significant other. Like everybody in my community knows who the fuck I'm dating. I'm dating Rachel. Right? I met her on a dating app. I mean, I met her on a dating app. And one thing I tell a lot of people is like when they hear that, they're just like, oh my God, wow, really? It's like, bro, like number one, this ain't a new concept.
Right.
It's really not a new dog. Back in the day, dog, like, we ain't know because we was too motherfucking young to really know that. But back on AOL, AIM, all that shit back in the day, niggas was doing the same shit, shooting they shot.
For real.
People
Yeah,
got
you know,
okay
Facebook,
Cupid,
MySpace, and all that.
Yeah, okay Cupid. Them commercials used to come on back in the day. Like, you know what I mean? You would get little dating websites and shit. Like, this shit ain't it's not a new concept. So people need to stop treating this shit like it's taboo. Like it's something like some brand new concept that nobody's ever heard of before. You know what I mean? Number one.
Right. Concept to yearn.
Because that's the thing I don't get. Like when people say that shit, like when you tell somebody you met somebody on the internet, people look at you crazy, like, oh, like what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? You trusted that process? Like, man, I trust talking to somebody on the internet more than I trust talking to somebody on the street for real, for real. You know what I mean? Because you gotta let me sling a scenario to you, right? You meet somebody, right? You approach them first. You talking to them. So what are they? They off guard right now. They're like, oh shit. They just doing whatever they doing in the world or whatever. So it's like when you come up to them, they kind of got a impromptu, if that's the word, like put themselves in a dating scenario. I mean, a dating situation where they could have just been, minding their business, listening to music or whatever the fuck they was doing. Now they've got to kind of swing things and go into things a different way. And then the one thing I've learned, regardless of, how people want to spin is people are liars, dog. So people are going to lie to you regardless. If you meet them on the internet or if you meet them in the street, people are going to lie to you about the intentions and everything.
Talk to them.
So, you're no more safer on the internet than you is in real life, dog. I think you're more safe on the internet because I don't have to meet you. I don't have to see you. I don't have to do anything until I'm ready to do so. Or until
there's a slow vetting
That's
process.
facts.
That's facts. A lot of people don't think that. Like when you approach a woman out in the wild, like you got to think like she's not expecting this, man. Some women do because they just be thirsty for attention. But that's a whole nother conversation on its own. But it's like, you might approach some chick and she comparing, iced teas or something. She's like, damn, should I get the Turkey Hill joint or the store brand joint? And here you come trying to spit some fucking game. It's like, damn, she not in the energy or the vibe for this. Now, what if she got a man at home and she liking what you like, and you coming through and you talking your shit? Now look what situation you in. You see, and I've been in them situations.
We all have.
You spitting game to
I don't know what you're talking about, Bird. I have no idea.
You done met in a while, man. You talking some shit to her. She like, damn, I do got a nigga at home, but this nigga talking that good shit. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just like, dog, like people gotta stop treating this shit like it's like this new coming of age thing. Like this shit been around back in the day. Your daddy probably was fucking around with bitches on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it was, bro. Like dialing up the internet and shit. You got the shit. He sitting there about to send an AOL email to a bitch, man, talking all crazy to her and shit. You know
I will say nowadays the internet definitely got better with like fixing catfishing. Cause I remember like my uncle, he ain't my real uncle, but he's my uncle. This dude showed me a picture of this like girl he was talking to in South Africa. Fine as fuck. I'm like, it's not like I didn't believe him, but I'm like, how? How did you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that was and these was them days where like people was getting catfish sending like hundreds and hundreds of dollars to strangers. You know what I'm saying? Because when talking to people online came out, everybody was amazed by it, bro. Everybody was. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we were shooting our shots on social medias and stuff like that before there were dating apps. Like me, I know shit, MySpace Bird, I was saying what the fuck ever. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is a girl from the islands. What? Let me, like just shooting whatever. But yeah, nowadays definitely is different, a little more filtered out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I don't know why people be acting like it's new shit. To me, it's old shit.
Yeah, man.
That's how I look at it now. It's old shit.
And another thing Warren was saying earlier, he was saying like, most people, when they look at a profile, they just swipe on it and keep moving. I disagree to a certain point, man. I think in today's landscape of dating, at least from I would say 2 years ago till about, because I started getting on them dating apps probably like 2016. Started fucking with the joints. OG Tinder, if you know, you know. That was the
Yeah,
goat.
yeah, yeah.
That
Don't
was
gotta pay for nothing.
that was the
Oh
the
God.
shit. It wasn't even just that. Tinder was the hookup, nigga.
It was the original,
Yeah.
like, yo, I'm just
Yeah,
trying to fuck type
I'm
of
just
app.
trying to fuck.
Yeah.
That app wasn't about
2014.
Yeah, you
For
wasn't trying to
real.
get no love on that joint, man. You was trying to fuck, man. Like, yeah,
Low-key, I was tight because those people fucked it up. Because it's like it became
Yeah.
like now
it up.
geared towards actual relationships. This is 20-year-old me thinking that, by the way. So I was like, God damn it, yo.
Yeah, man. But I do disagree because I think a lot of times, like, yeah, I do be swiping right. Like, oh, she bad, she bad, she bad, she bad. Ah, she ugly, she ugly. Oh man, this bitch dark skin. It's like now let me stop.
Yo,
I didn't throw my joke
yo.
in. I didn't throw my joke
all
in.
listeners, I'm not co-signing with this nigga. I'm
Yo,
not
I had to
co-signing.
throw
Yeah, I'm
my
not part of
joke
that.
there, man. Y'all,
Nothing wrong with no chocolate.
that's crazy. Y'all don't even
We
let me
love
get
black women on this podcast. All
Yeah,
by all
I
shades.
love all women. Man, I've been with a dark skinned woman before.
You still with her?
No, but
All right then.
I'm just saying. Thank God I ain't still with her. I love all women. You know what I mean? I love all some of them.
This nigga wanted to tank us for real. Like,
He
God
said
damn.
equal
I just had to
opportunity.
get my shit off real quick, man. Damn.
Don't
I had to
do
get
that
one little,
shit, nigga.
I had to get one little jokey joke off in there real quick. You know what I mean? Something I could clip for the podcast. You know what I mean?
Yo.
But damn, I done lost my train of thought now, man. What the fuck was I even talking about? No, but like, I would get to looking if I really like what I like. I'm looking at him like, damn. Especially if it's like she just bad as shit. You be like, damn, what the fuck this bitch doing on this joint? So you get to looking at the bio like, all right, what's this? A shorty just trying to sling her Instagram? Because I ran into plenty of them just chicks trying to get their Instagram up and shit. And of course, I go follow that joint. I mean, back in the day, I was top gooner. I'm out here. I'm ready.
This nigga bragging about this shit.
Yes.
I'm ready. I was back in the day. I was wilding, bro. Tinder back in the day, I was wilding.
You gonna bring up Backpage and shit? God damn.
I missed that era, dog. Shout out Backpages, dog. The original OnlyFans, nigga. That shit was crazy. That shit was crazy, dog. Yo, remember the telly down the street? That shit used to do numbers, dog. That shit used to do numbers. Not with me. I'm just saying. I used to see a lot of ads of Backpage.
I know, dog. You sound like a vet.
I didn't even heard that.
You sound like a vet, bro.
You know that joint that's right next to, I think it used to be called the Summit. It's something else now. It's something else down there now. But yeah, shout out there. Shout out to the Motor Inc. right there on City Line Avenue. Shout out to
This is a vet, bro.
Yeah, shout out to that joint. Dog, you get right on Backpage. You be like, yo, I'll be there at fucking 7:00 in the night, sitting outside in a black car. You know what I mean? $115. It's like, damn, $115. You know, shit. Yeah. But
I'm feeling like I need to get tested just hearing you say this shit, dog.
Right. I used to be a wild boy, man. I used to be a wild boy. That's why I'm happy I found.
Okay, Machine Gun
love.
Kelly.
It's too litty.
Yeah, it's too litty for real, man.
Too litty, boys.
Like I talk about this type of shit on my stream all the time. Like I be feeling bad for one thing about this new generation of dating is I feel bad, especially like the older I get, because the one thing I've noticed, even the older I got, because I met Rachel like 3 years ago. from like this month actually, probably from like this day actually. It's crazy. It was like the beginning of like
This
March.
is that's a wild way to discover this your
Right.
anniversary.
Yeah,
Like,
Right.
yeah, no
Anniversary
shit.
podcast.
Yeah, but it was like
Change
it
the
was
name.
3 years ago. Like the dating landscape was like totally different because I like to date. You know, what I mean, unlike some people, I like to date within my age range. I mean, like
oh
I don't
fuck
want
you,
I don't
nigga.
I
Fuck
don't want that
you.
bitch too much younger than me,
This
and I
nigga
don't want her
said this
too much
got to the
older
middle
than
of the
me.
motherfucking podcast.
Well, maybe like I mean, she like 2 years older than me. That's cool. 3 years older.
Right,
than me,
right,
that's
right.
cool. Maybe like
Nigga,
2 years
fuck
younger than
every
me. That's
Little
single last
seasoning.
one of you niggas.
Little,
All right.
little seasoning, little cellulite, just a little bit ain't too bad. But
yeah, man.
Warren,
You know, like
this man
I
like the
I
wrinkles
want
and
them around
time.
my age range. And the one thing I learned about when you date around, you know, the age range that I was like 20, I think I was 28 at the time, 29. It's like all you dealing with is this girl got a kid, this girl got a kid, this girl got a kid. She just got divorced. This girl just got divorced. So it's like if you're really trying to get on these dating apps today with like true intentions, it is really difficult. I could tell. It's like one thing I go by, and you know, I'm gonna put this on wax. I don't care. You know what I mean, one thing I go by when it comes to dating is like I don't want to be raising. I don't want to feel like I'm raising a woman how to be a woman. I don't want to
Yeah,
teach you how to be a woman. So if
yeah,
you come in here with all this baggage and shit, shorty, I'm cool. I mean, you can see my dick. You can definitely see my dick. But like, I mean, all this extra shit, us talking, us dating, all this shit. You not over your last nigga, your last marriage. You know, you got all these psychological problems. Look, man, I know a boy. His name is Warren. Man, he's a great therapist. He can be therapist with you. You know what I mean, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? So
And for the record, y'all, I got my degrees, but I'm not your therapist.
you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't do that when it comes to women. So it's like when I was like 28 and I was like talking to a lot of women, I'm like, I wasn't talking to a lot, but I was talking to a decent amount. It's like,
Nah,
damn,
talk your shit.
this chick damaged, that chick damaged, this chick damaged, that
yeah,
this bitch need a daddy, this bitch need a baby
yeah,
daddy, this bitch needs some money. It's like,
It's
damn,
listen,
dog. Like,
for real,
yeah.
it
This
could be
needs some money.
treated like that a little.
yeah,
Like,
it's like,
like
god damn,
a
dog.
sizable amount of the population is like there are like the gems of people that are like, oh yeah, they're genuinely people that just happen to be single, and then there are also your fair share of people that are just like, oh, there's a reason why you're single, and you just haven't
Yeah,
recognized it yet.
Yeah,
yeah,
bro. Yeah, and
yeah,
it'd be you gotta pinpoint that. I mean, since we're all veterans in this game, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it's easy for us to motherfucker. It's definitely easy for me. I pick up on it real fast. Like when a shorty's just trying to link from the rip, like she trying
From
to throw some money at you, something like that. It's like, oh, this bitch going through something, dog.
immediate red flag.
Because I've been through some shit. I done followed up on one of them joints. Like, all right, cool. She trying to throw the cat at me real quick. I'm going to slide. I'm hitting this shit all crazy. This bitch talking about I can move in and shit. It's like, dog, you don't even know me, dog. Yeah, like, you don't even know me, dog.
Nigga stupid.
You know what I mean? Like, dog, you don't even know me. Like, dog, I done hit some shit crazy. And the chick was just like, you ain't got to leave. You can stay. It's like, nah, nigga, I think I would like to leave. You know what I mean?
I,
I think I would like to leave. You know what I mean? Like, but it's just, I think that's an age thing too. Especially like the older you get, I think dating is a rough place. Even in real life, you used to approach a woman. It's like she got kids at home. You know, her mom watching the kids and shit. It's like a rough dynamic to work with the older you get.
dog,
You just gotta have fun with that shit, dog.
honestly, the reason why I would say I gravitate to people who are on the older side, I would say, granted, it's not like it's wild or anything, and I still talk to people my age. Thank you very much. It's because like my larger critique on like dating culture is that a lot, and I think you touched a little bit on it earlier on, Derek, is that I think a lot of it is quite performative. Like we tend to put on these masks of like, you know, who we think this other person would want to see of us at the kind of expense of being genuine, being earnest, authentic to who we actually are. How many times do we see people find themselves in relationships where everything's fine and dandy during the beginning and the honeymoon phase comes around and then once all that shit fades and you're not doing the same things that you did in the beginning and you see who the person really is, you're just like, wow, like I did not know that you were this kind of person all along and whatnot. And it's like, yeah, it's because you just
I'm Russell.
Yeah. It's crazy, dog.
because all it is in the beginning is oftentimes a performance. It's like I'm
Yeah,
at a point in time in my life where it's like I'm not doing that anymore, and I don't want that from anybody else that I interact with.
Yeah, man. Dog,
Yeah.
listen, right? That's another thing I was gonna get at. That was gonna be the third point too. The most important, it's like, I get they on a podcast, they having a conversation or whatever, but it's like, to me, like being a 32-year-old man, they conversation, they definitely older than me. Y'all
Yeah.
said they was,
They
pro
in their
and
40s. They in their
yeah,
40s.
they too old to be having this type of conversation, bro. 'Cause like me personally, like me being a man with priorities and shit to do, it's like I like the new dating landscape of like dating apps and shit. Let's cut all that bullshit the fuck out. Like, number one, I'm like he was talking about. You see a group of girls in the club. Number one, I'm 32 years old. If I'm in the club trying to pick up girls, something the fuck wrong. And if
Yeah,
that's
it
what
was
you
different for
if
their.
that's what
Yeah.
you do, if that's what you do at 30, because I know I'm gonna have that one nigga like, oh man, you're just a lame. It's like, no, nigga, at 32 years old, I think you need to be in better places than the club. You know what I mean? That's just
Yeah.
me being, a little bit of an adult. If I'm gonna be at a club, I'm gonna be with my guys. They're all wifed up.
You like one turn of phrase away from being like, what you should be doing is picking up Jones while you're like applying for your LLC. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
real shit. No, it's just dog. Like you, like let's talk about quality now, right? Let's talk about quality. If
All right,
I'm
speak to
hollering
him.
at a chick
Give me
at
the
the
mathematics,
club,
nigga.
if I'm talking to a chick in the club, what you think the quality of that is? You know what I mean, if she's coming home with me, what you think the quality? I just met her at the club and she's coming home with me.
Listen,
What you think
she
the
can still
quality
be high quality.
of this is?
It
man?
depends,
I'm
bro.
out. We not gonna trash the party girls. You know what I'm saying? They can just
I'm
be
not
going out
saying that.
dating.
That's not that. No, you taking it the wrong way, bro. You taking it the wrong way. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is, what's the quality? As in, dog, you're in the club, you out here, you doing all this, you probably wilding out. What's the quality of you being able to put this shit down and be, a wife or a girlfriend? You know
Derek,
what I'm saying?
I'm
You
waiting
mean
for
what's
you
the
to.
likelihood? You mean what's
Yeah,
the
what's the
likelihood?
likelihood?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's
I'm
still
waiting,
very high.
Derek. I'm waiting for you to
I
bring
don't
back the
know.
term quality street pussy, dog. I'm just
Yeah,
waiting for
nah,
you.
man,
Wow.
because it's real shit though. It's like me at 32 years old, I'm not talking to no shorty that's fucking drinking E&J out of no motherfucking bar. Like
In all seriousness, Derek,
red flag, nigga. Red
I think
flag.
in all seriousness, it's a bit judgy. It's giving a bit
Thank
Hey
you.
man,
judgy.
I'm
Thank you,
gonna be
Warren.
that
That's what
way,
I'm
bro. I'm
saying.
gonna be that way because I'm like, one thing about it, and I tell people this all the time when you dating and shit, be picky. Please don't fucking just
Yeah.
accept. Like, I'm picky, dog. You know what I mean, people
It's
can't tell because I like to fuck me. You know what I mean, I like to fuck the bigger women. Shout out to the, BBWs. We love you out here. Salute to y'all. You know what I mean,
Oh,
people
but dark
think
skinned women though, on the other hand.
people.
right,
I
right,
fuck with the
right,
dark skins.
right.
I fuck
Do
with
you
them,
hear
yo.
this man?
I fuck
Do you
with them,
hear this
yo.
man?
Thank you. I'm not the only one hearing it.
He throwing
Thank you.
strays at people that can't do nothing about it unless they want to be like Michael Jackson. A little, you know what I'm saying?
It was a
But,
joke,
but
man. Oh
hey,
man,
man, I'm just
it
saying,
was a
man.
joke,
They ain't
man. I
got the
love
shout
the
out
dark.
though. That's
I'm
all I'm
just
saying.
I
saying.
love the
Thank
dark
you.
skin.
He's
I'm
still
Just
just
getting
because
saying,
we
shout
out of
out.
Black History Month
bro,
don't mean you can get away with that shit, my nigga.
That's
it's always
exactly
like
why
that,
I made the
bro.
joke, because it's the second day out of motherfucking Black History
I'm just
Month.
saying, no.
Wow.
I'm just saying, big joints they get a lot of protection, bro. Because all right, look, like I
Oh,
said,
here comes
y'all.
this nigga on his soapbox.
Like I said, y'all. I'm a 5'4" man. All right. You
Oh
got a
man, you
group
about to
of
go in.
women. You got a group of women. They see me. They like, look at him. He 5'4". No. But if a dude turn away a big joint, what's wrong with that? You should. What? I
Get out your
literally
feelings,
can't.
nigga.
I can't do nothing about this, bruh.
Get out your feelings, nigga. Start growing. Drink some
Nigga,
milk,
what you
nigga.
see? All right. And you know what's funny?
Just
You want
saying,
you want to know
Nigga
what's
start growing.
you know what's funny? You know
Yo.
what's funny, tall guy? I would talk about your knees, but I'm the one with knee problems. But anyway,
I got knee
it's
problems too. That shit hurt, nigga.
yeah, fuck your knees. Anyway,
We really is showing our
um,
age, dog.
we really is, bruh. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, no. Derek out here speaking the truth. Especially like
To some extent,
with
yes.
women like basically like always not all of them, but it's a lot of women on these dating apps that need something, and it's like that in real life. Cause all of my niggas know, cause I would get the jokes, I would get the videos sent to me, like I would be Captain Save a Hoe. I don't know what it is with me, You know what I'm saying? I genuinely just have a lot of love to give and stuff like that, and that puts me in like
You're
the
a
wrong
compassionate
situation.
person who
I was
cares
gonna
about
say, so
people and always wants to see the good qualities in them. Okay, and that is something that I admire about you, Bird. Okay.
Yeah, man, I
ladies, if y'all
appreciate that.
listening,
I
ladies, if you
do,
listening to the podcast, our man Bird, he's compassionate.
Listen, good guys
Care about
exist.
y'all.
Okay, and like you got Bird is one of them.
well, I try. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
not. I'm
The-
not. I'm not. Like I said, my daddy ain't hugged me, man. I mean, I feel some type of way about that shit.
but
I gotta
yeah,
take it out on y'all.
but
He's
even with that and me going through my trials and tribulations as being one of those type of dudes, not saying shit after my last joint, I done gained a little hair on my chest in that area for real. Definitely like always stick to your standards. If there's one thing that I can definitely say, the standards, they at least have to be intelligent. You know what I'm saying? They at least have to have some type of idea of like real attainable goals and stuff like that. I'm not trying to date no female rapper, no offense to the female rappers out there, but like, realistic goals. If they already on that track, cool. Things like that's cool. Um,
and you ain't
but
trying to get out the mud with them.
bro, y'all know how long I've been in the damn mud, bro. I'm ready to be clean. Goddamn, I'm ready to be clean. But yeah, always just make sure you got like real standards. And I never try to go for something that's like way out of this world or something like that. No, realistic goals, realistic standards, somebody that can have intelligent conversation. You like that, Warren? You like that conversation?
Absolutely.
Conversation.
I'm fucking with what you're saying right now. Okay, I'm picking up what you're
Yeah,
putting down.
you always want that. And then all of the other things that come with it, you know what I'm saying? Whether that's sex drive, you look for that. Whether it's someone who's adventurous, you look for that. Whether it's somebody that like to travel, you look for that. But never look for somebody that's like literally they will drain your lifeblood. And sometimes
Look,
they don't even know they're gonna do that. You know what I'm
and,
saying? Sometimes
and
they don't know when they really finna hit your pockets like that. Sometimes they don't really know when they gonna unintentionally take up all your time. Cause it's corny, but yeah, sometimes some people need that shit. But always
Yeah,
protect yourself. Always protect yourself from all that. Have standards,
protect your
real
heart.
standards.
Protect your
No,
heart.
real shit. Have
Yeah,
standards because a lot of niggas out here do not have no fucking standards.
no
yeah.
standards,
Afraid
no
to
dick discipline either.
they be afraid to they be afraid to turn a motherfucker down. Like, nah, man, like we doing that.
Yeah.
We doing that. We turning these motherfuckers down.
And also, side note, if you're looking for sex drive, I'm just gonna say, side note here, that shit goes up for women in age. So you know what I'm saying.
I thought you
Another.
was about to start peddling Blue Chew.
Oh no, no.
Bruh.
Well, once Derek gets that sponsored though, we on that though. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
bet.
on.
And
Yeah, holla at me, man. I'm
just
trying
make
to
sure you
get.
do your stretches, you eat
Oh,
right,
Eat
you be
right,
all right.
hydrate,
Hydrate.
drink your
Exactly.
apple cider vinegar is what Knox is gonna tell you.
Y'all
Drink
stupid
your
as
vegetable
hell.
oil
beer.
for the
I
hair.
mean, some liquor. I mean,
Self care, man. Self
Oh,
care.
Eat
on my little way
avocado.
into Blue Chew, fuck with me.
Yeah.
no,
Eat
but it's
avocado.
it's real shit. Like I really want to speak on that too
Them
because
tariffs hitting the
I
avocado
think
prices hard, bro.
I think
Yeah.
that's I got a lot of shit back in the day for that. Like when I used to link up with a little shorty I met off of like a dating app, and it'd be like a genuine, just like a date. Like yo, we're gonna go out do something fun because I don't believe in spending money on a shorty I just met. I don't do all that shit.
Facts. I hear you.
I'm gonna take you somewhere
No,
chill.
Equal. I'm cool
I'm gonna
spending
take
money
you
with
somewhere
just be
chill where the
like
money
having a
ain't
good time with you. But
I'm
no,
not.
like I'm all
I'm
about
not.
something like I'm not going to wine and dine you. Like I'm not doing
right,
all that. I
Yeah.
want to do something fun. Let's go to.
right,
I mean, y'all gonna
Yeah.
crown me for this. Let's go to Dave and Buster's. Let's do something
right.
too.
Yo,
Yeah.
we
Where
there.
at the end
We
of the
there.
day,
They go.
even if the date was a flop,
They
I
go.
had fun with it. Not some shit just like, oh, shorty just got a free meal out of a nigga,
Right.
and I ain't even
Yeah.
You
feeling
know,
the
free
shorty.
come ups.
Like, I'm big on that shit. You know what I mean, but I used to get a
They,
lot of shit back in the day from like just going on a date with a shorty and then like never talking to him again. Like people, and they used to be like, "Oh man, you're so picky, you're so this." It's like, bro, I'm very selective of who I choose to give my business to and my time to. You can't get time back. You know what I mean? So if
Mhm.
I don't see some type of attraction or I don't see this evolving into anything further, like I'm gonna cut out all the bullshit. I'm not gonna waste your time. You're not gonna waste mine. We're just gonna move forward. You know what I mean? And
Derek,
we should
I'll take it a step further with my perspective. I straight up
go ahead.
just say I straight up just say I do not date strangers. Like I I want to like the first initial meeting. I don't even call those things dates to be honest, because it almost implies that there is like a set goal of there being a romantic outcome. When truthfully speaking, I want to figure out whether or not I like you first as a human being. This is why
Mhm.
I'm always so like emphasizing like the conversational aspect. Like I want to know if there is a wide array of things that me and you can converse about. We can talk about things, and on
Yeah.
top of that, get a better assessment of your character as a human being. And then once we establish it, like okay, there is somewhat of an investment here and there's a genuine like, a mutual like, then we can go into like, okay, I can actually want to do something involved with you that's much more special and like, in that particular realm. So, and that's when I would kind of like transition into thinking of it as dates rather than like us actually meeting up.
Yeah.
Not me. I'm taking them on dates, or I was taking them on dates. Shoot, listen, if I meet you and I want to get to know you more, let's go out and do something. And there ain't nothing wrong with Dave and Buster's. I gotta see you competitive, just like me. But I
Right.
mean,
Facts.
there's different options and different things you can do on these dates. It don't always have to be dinner and all that stuff. Like you said,
Yo.
Dave and Buster's is a thing. Go do like a top golf or something. Just
Yeah.
go out. But I don't look at it as like, oh, I don't go on dates with strangers. I mean, everybody's a stranger till you meet them. And now that you agree to go out with me, then like, yeah, let's go do something. I
I
mean,
guess my
granted, dating is not cheap. I will always put out that dating is not cheap. However, you can find ways to fit it within your budget if you really want to, do something. Because I'm telling you, it could be all so simple. I'm telling you, just
I
just put some effort in with the lady. If you really want to get to know her, just put in a little effort, and that will go so far.
I guess
Absolutely.
from my perspective, the reason why I've sort of like backed away from like the dating framework of all of it is because when it's often framed in that particular aspect, and we're trying to like look for a specific outcome, which I often am not. These instances often feel like job interviews, where my entire humanity is kind of resist to like a checklist for someone else, and it's like
Right.
I I don't want to feel it feels icky when I'm in those particular circumstances, and I often feel like I'm being reduced
Oh,
to
call it
like
what it is. Call it what
But
it
you
is.
gotta you gotta change your perspective on that, because
oh,
Nah, man, that's what
you
it
gotta
is,
change your
bro.
perspective on it. You just going out and seeing if you guys have a connection. If you don't, you don't. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can't go on dates either with the expectation that something's coming from it.
that's
The only thing that you can expect from a date is that you have this person's time to figure out if there's anything more there.
I
That
Yeah,
is
think
all dating is.
I think that's
I agree
easier.
with that to a certain degree. I
I
do.
think it's easier when you have that perspective, but when it's like it's the disconnect between what I'm looking at this as versus what you see this as. And I can come up with this where oftentimes my expectation is simply like there is no expectation. I'm not going to like have these high goals of like, because again you're still effectively a stranger to me. I want to make the effort to want to understand you. Whereas with a lot of people, especially when we're talking about people that are our age as well, who haven't been married, who don't have kids, but have this like internal clock of I have to hit these benchmarks by a certain time. They're trying to speed through this whole situation. So oftentimes it is like I'm trying to find somebody whom I can literally call my boyfriend almost feels like tomorrow. So it's like I don't want to, it's very a high pressure situation that it's like, do I want to subject myself to something like that when it's like it's evident at least if you're I don't let's just say I don't connect with people where in which from a base level our goals are misaligned on that regard. Like if there is like, hey, my intention is like marriage and shit like that, then it's like, whoa, let's I'm not purposely trying to like have those kinds of interactions. I'm not shaming them for having those intentions and whatnot, but for me, the best kinds of interactions are the kinds of people where in which there's a mutual understanding that, hey, we're just trying to connect. Simple as that. And we're not going to put each other under any sort of like undue pressure for it to become something. And even if I always say, if I walk away from any interaction with a new friend, then I consider it a success.
Word. How old are
But
these women you talking about, Warren?
They vary in age, goddammit, Bird.
right, yeah, ask about the age. Ask about them ages. But I mean, more to your point, I mean, I think that's the whole purpose of dating is you guys get all that out there. You know, it might not be the first day you talking about, oh, do you want to get married in 5 years or whatever. I mean, sometimes that will help you speed up the process to see if you want to continue to talk to the person. But I mean, you gradually learn that over time where that's the whole point of dating and courtship is to figure out if your things align. Like if you're a person that you know in your heart of hearts you're not ready to get married right now, and the other person wants to get married in a year or two, you let that person know. And that goes to your point about being genuine and being who you authentically are.
That's
The
facts.
beginning, there are no misconceptions, and nobody gets led astray. So, like, you know, I'm talking about from prior experience. I went on 3 dates with this chick. I mean, it was great, but then I thought something was going to go from it. But she called me up and was like, "Listen, I'm doing a lot in my life right now. I can't continue to see you." And I was like, I didn't take no fault. I was like, "Listen, that's just where she is right now. We went on the dates. We had a good time, but then she reevaluated and just felt like, you know, I don't have that type of time and energy. I didn't take nothing by it. You know what I'm saying? Some other people would be like, damn, this chick used me for 3 dates and all this other stuff. I spent all this money on it and blah, blah, blah. But it's just like, but I had a mutual good time with this person. So if it ended, I mean, that was our time frame. That's it.
I get.
You
I
know?
guess what's it? I guess for me, like, and I guess for in your experiences, you can find peace in that particular like instance where something like that happens. I guess for me, I've just kind of grown tired of transaction. I'm tired of transactional relationships where in which we base it off of what we're getting out of it, rather than like let this become something where in which I I I see your inherent value regardless, and even if this doesn't become a thing, I still look at you and value you as a human being. And granted, like this might just be a me thing that we discussed off mic. Not many people have the kind of bandwidth that I do to kind of like open themselves to want to like expand their community of people and actually have like people for whom they can, you know, confide in and like have conversations with, even if it doesn't lend its way to a romantic relationship. Truthfully speaking, I think more men should be operating in a space where in which like, listen, I'm just trying to be cool with women, period, and whatever comes of
Yeah.
it comes of it.
I feel you on that, dog. I definitely feel you on that. One thing I will say, like Knox, to your point, like for dating and stuff like that, it's like you trying to see, you know, the vibe that you get or whatever. I'll say like you going on those 3 dates, that was the right thing to do. Her saying that like it didn't seem like that was I don't like you. It like the way you framed it, it seemed kind of genuine. I remember I went on this date with this chick, and it was a cool date. Wasn't nothing crazy. We went to the movies, hung out at her crib, and all that. And me and this is a weird thing where it's like, well, damn, I shit ain't gonna work regardless. You know, you as a man, you know, a lot of times you think that women they gonna look at you as like, oh, you just trying to get some pussy. You know what I'm saying? You just trying to get some ass. And it's like with this, I was trying to do like the respectful thing and stuff like that. Went to the movies, you know, the conversation was popping. Went back to her crib. We chilled, watched some more movies. You could tell that like I was about to leave and all that, and then like we kissed and stuff, and it was a good ass long kiss. She hit me up later saying I got the vibe of just a friend, so I'm just like, you wanted me to just straight up crack your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I wasn't on that type time, and because of that, I got essentially the boot. Now I wasn't like upset or anything like that. I was just like, damn,
Wow.
it's girls out there that really, you know what I'm saying? This what I'm like. If those the intentions, say that shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women really won't. I had a couple that did, I had this one girl that I matched with on Tinder like back in 2020 or whatever. She hit me up 2 years later because I let her borrow a DVD, never got it back. And she said, "Hey, do you want me to drop off your DVD? You never took it back, and we could do some things." I'm like, "Hey, that we ain't do it because I wasn't on that type time with her." But at that point, but yeah, shout out to that. Be a little more direct with what you're expecting. Now, for the women that will use us for like dates or money and shit like that, I had to cut this one girl like recently. I had to like cut her like really quick because what she said to me, she lives like a few hours away. What she said to me was she felt that I should send for her. I'm like, the fuck? We not there. I should send for you. One, you live a couple hours away, not 10, 12 hours away. You know what I'm saying? I should send for you. What are you talking about? Like, and also you initiated this. Why am I like that's expecting too much? Like, that's when I feel like, okay, you see what type of man I am, what my lifestyle is. You know what I'm saying? That's probably, and I don't think that was what the type of lifestyle she was used to do. She sees having, and she thought that I was about to be this overwhelmingly, you know what I'm saying, just dishing out the bucks. And it's like I can be that when I'm heavily invested in somebody, when my feelings are like booming and stuff like that. Like I am a giver. Y'all know me. Naturally, I'm a giver. And if I can't give that in like gifts or whatever, I give it in time or effort, 100%. But somebody that's just coming out like saying shit like that, nah, that ain't it. It was one girl I remember. She off the bat was telling me she wanted to go to a steakhouse. I don't be what steakhouse? The fuck? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's all I had to say on that then.
Awkward silence. Yeah, I mean, boom. All right. Yeah, nah, man. It's just like if I had to give a message to a man that's on a dating app today, like in a joking way, I would say good luck, but like in a real way, nah, because it's bad, man. Dating today is just bad, just bad, dog.
It's
It's
bad for
bad.
a whole laundry list of reasons, but
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah, and it's not
I
even just internet dating. It's all date. It's all
shut up.
bad, dog.
Because humans are flawed. At the end of the day, it's a reflection
Mhm.
on us as a society as to why things are bad.
Listen, man, I'm gonna hit y'all with some real shit, man. I blame Instagram, dog. I blame
That's fair.
Instagram. I blame all this superficial shit, man. People can't see past this shit, dog. Like it's just it's a bad landscape to be in today, man. Like I said, like everybody's got their shit with them, but it's like now we live in this age where it's like women can't even really be comfortably be themselves anymore. I mean,
Hmm.
you got people who pride themselves. I had this bitch every day on my Facebook who takes a fucking picture on and posts it like, oh, no filter, no filter, no filter, no filter, no filter, no filter, no filter. It's like, all right, dog, like you could use a filter, but like I'm glad, like you got the no filter. I'm glad you look good with no filter. But it's like we live in that type of competitive like landscape now where it's just like every man is looking at the next man, or I ain't gonna say every man because I don't do this shit. And then every woman is looking at the next woman, like the woman that looks better, quote unquote, better than her, and all that shit. Same thing with niggas. We looking at the next nigga, well, not me because I don't follow them. But you know what I mean? It looks at the next nigga that's got more money than them, or look better than them, or they cut look better, they car look nicer. It's like we just live in this weird, like that's why I always try to reinforce like this mental positivity on my stream. Not only in my stream, but I've done it on my Instagram. Like I had that post like a couple weeks ago, went crazy. I meant to post it as an actual post, but it's like I was just really just saying like, don't pay attention to what the next man is doing because everybody's
Hmm.
out here posting they successes and shit. Nobody's showing you, that eviction notice that they just got put on their door or their
Right.
car getting repossessed. Nobody's showing you that shit. People
Hmm.
let us show you when they get on a plane or something. That's why it's like when I see them type of pictures, dog. I don't even
Yeah.
like people call me a hater, but I don't even like them because it's like you're trying to prove to your friends, your family, and other people that you're somebody that you're not. Like your life is always lit, and life isn't
It's
always
all
lit.
performative.
You know what
Performative.
I mean? You only
Yeah.
take pictures when you out the country. You literally only take pictures when you getting on a plane. Like, dog, your life's not that, and the gaps be crazy. So we know your life ain't that lit. Nigga, like, stop it. You know what I mean? But there's nothing wrong with that. That's the thing I'll be trying to, like, especially on stream, I try to reinforce with people. It's okay to just be a nigga that comes home from work and hops on a game and chills every day. There's nothing wrong with that. You ain't gotta be in a club. You ain't gotta be going on crazy trips. You ain't gotta be doing all this wild shit if your heart don't desire that. Now, if your heart desires that, go chase a bag and go get it. It's not that hard, dog. I mean, it's really not that hard of a concept. But I think people are always looking at what the next person is doing instead of just
I'll
focusing on themselves, man.
I'll say
I think that fucked up dating a lot. Not to cut you off, but I think that fucked up dating a lot because again, I've ran into so many women that are just like they lack a lot of confidence in themselves, and it's like, that's a turn off for me. Like that's a big turn. Like a woman that's not confident in herself is a massive turn off to me, dog. Like, I know that shit sounds shallow, but like I tell people, you gotta have them. You gotta have like those types of things that you like in women, and you gotta stick to it. You gotta stick to it. You can't, all right, you can't, quote unquote, bend the knee on shit you don't like just to look like a good guy. Because why? What the fuck does that do for you? That shit don't service you. So it's like when I deal with a woman that's got like some bad, like, just, isn't confident in herself or something like that. That shit like pisses me off, dog. That's why it's like a lot of times that like people see like, yo, you dealing with like this big chick or whatever. But this big chick is more confident than half of the motherfucking, women that actually look good that I deal with, man. You know what I mean? These big chicks be mad confident for no reason. For no reason too, sometimes. I'm sorry, but for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, but it's just like, yeah, man, like what you like and don't fold for nothing that you don't, dog. And that's listen, I say that to everybody, dog. Don't fold on if there's something you don't like, there's a red flag, nigga, pay attention to it. Pay attention to it. Keep looking. Keep looking, man. You know what I mean?
I'll say this as far as like in closing from like my perspective. If I'm going to give any sort of advice for anyone that's trying to like approach this, whether it be online or out in the wild or anything like this, two things you want to keep in mind. One, be content with self. I want people to kind of like disavow themselves with the idea that being single is like a bad thing, or it automatically means loneliness or anything like that. Because quite frankly, if you have a peace of mind for self and have a full understanding of like the responsibility that comes along with the relationship, and you are content with who you are, you can have fun in this particular space. Like honestly, being single right now, and I'm probably at the most content that I've been in quite a long time. That's not to say that like I don't see myself in a relationship ever again or anything like that, but it's just like you don't want to get into a space where in which you need that in order to validate your existence. And the second thing is I want people to also have an idea of what they want. And in like constructing that idea, I hope it isn't necessarily following the social script just because that's what's been prescribed to you. I want you to question it and have a firm understanding that, okay, if this is what you want to do, have a firm understanding as to the why. And if the why in what is prescribed to you, be it like, find the person, get married, have kids, and that doesn't sound like something that you want to do, then construct the kind of lifestyle that works for you and find the people that align with that sort of thing, instead of having to either conform yourself to what society wants you to do or expect others to kind of like conform to what you want to do. Just fall in line with find what it is that you want and then go after it.
Yeah, that's important, man. I think that's a good way to end this too. Like, Bird, Knox, y'all got anything to say to kind of Cause I really do, man. Like my heart goes out to like motherfuckers that's still out here dating and shit. Like I ain't gotta deal with
Yeah.
that no more. I mean, I'm locked in. I got a kid on the way and shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm good where I'm at. I hope I never have to get in that pool, that crazy dating pool, because that shit is wild. Man. I don't feel like I personally just hate dating. I think that shit's terrible. It's always been terrible, dog. It's never been good. I don't care if it was the 90s, the 80s. Getting to know somebody, and when I mean somebody, I mean a real somebody. It's fucking it's shitty and it is a hard process. And it's like pulling teeth because you really don't know who people are until they really show you who the fuck they are. And that's usually when it's bad. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, things you people don't show you who they really are until things are fucking terrible, dog. You know what I mean? So,
Yes,
you got anything, Bird?
unfortunately.
Knox, go ahead, Knox.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, yeah, sometimes it can be bad, but it also can be good. And for that, my last little closing remarks is just be confident in yourself, be authentic with yourself, and somebody's gonna want you weird. So like, don't change who you are just to
Right.
try to get somebody. You know what I'm saying? Just be who
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah, I feel that, man. I feel that. What about you, Bird? I know you got a lot. You got a lot of wisdom. You're bald, man. Bald people got a lot of wisdom.
Shut up, man. Give it to Kailas. I feel like he ain't get to talk that much, man.
Man, Kyle, listen, he ain't got no goddamn wisdom. It's like no. I'll go ahead,
Bro,
Kings,
I
man.
am a
Kill him.
grown man. It's 4:00 in the morning, dog. What I gotta say is the game is fucked up. You gotta play either way. Just keep playing.
I like that, man.
Talk to these niggas.
I like that, man. Like I said, my daddy never hugged me, man. So yeah, he said my daddy never hugged me.
He gonna listen to this and fuck you up, dog.
Yeah, it's been fuck these bitches since for forever, nigga. You know what I mean? Forever, dog. You know what I mean? You got two eyes, I don't want you, man. You got hair, I don't want you. You know what I mean? You got big boobies, I don't want you. You got a fat ass, I don't want you. You know what I mean? I don't want you, man. I mean, women they bad. Women are bad. That's my closest. Go ahead, Bird. I know you. Like I said, you bald. You got a lot of wisdom, dog.
Shut up,
Bald
man.
niggas,
Nah.
bald niggas be talking that shit real low key.
Hey, I had to follow up on what Knox said about like someone will love you weird and stuff like that. Like, just to me, the two biggest things when it comes to dating, you know what I'm saying, or however you want to phrase it, that like people will always preach. They have the ideal of, and they just don't really execute it that well. Transparency, you know what I'm saying? Like, and transparency don't always mean you have to be blunt and rude. You know what I'm saying? Like, also practice being like sympathetic and empathetic. You know what I'm saying? We all been through shit. So if somebody like, if someone coming from a past situation, you know what I'm saying, and they might be a little bit scorned or whatever, you know, that's they shit. But you can understand. You know what I'm saying? If it's not for you, that's not a situation you don't want to deal with. Be transparent. Hey, you got some things like, you know, you working through, and I respect that. Let them handle that. You know, but transparency, like I never want to be dealing with some shit or I'm thinking some shit and they never know. One thing about me when I am talking to somebody or whatever, even if we're not together, like when it's people in my life, I'm gonna be their cheerleader. You know what I'm saying? Like it's how I am when I speak to people in general. Like I'm always the type to be like liking someone's stuff. I ain't no hater. You know what I'm saying? I love seeing when people um they doing good, or if you're going through shit. You know what I'm saying? I always reach out like, yo, you good? You know what I'm saying? Like just be transparent with who you are. There's no reason to frame it to be something else. I'ma be goofy. You know what I'm saying? I'ma talk about my nerd shit from time to time. I'm a assert like my passion for things. You know, I'ma talk about what's important to me. And if some things don't vibe, they just don't. And you can talk about that, and you can have a smart conversation about it. Everything don't got to be an argument. You know what I'm saying? You can have debates, whatever, but just be transparent with somebody. Also, try to be empathetic. Everybody, you know, they dealing with their shit, but yeah, that's how I'm end it.
Also, slight like amendment to my shit as well. Don't idealize other people's shit, right? Don't look over to what other people are doing and feel as though that means that is the way you need to frame your relationship. Because there's so many people that are out here that are like going about things the way that they should be and are miserable. Like I said, frame out things the way in which you want to do it. It's authentic to who you are.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. And with that, man, I think we're going to call this one a wrap, man. Like I said, if you made it this far in the podcast, I want to say I appreciate you, man. Number two, I want to say that the gaming podcast is coming, man. It's coming. This was a good time to kind of do this podcast, put it out. It gives us a little bit more time to play my son. Even though I got like 25 hours in this shit. Shit just came out like yesterday. I'm a fucking fiend, but I'm gonna try to get a couple more hours in, so that way when we talk about it, we got a good conversation for y'all, man. But if you made it this far, I'm gonna just let you know I like the game so far. It's good. Haven't had too many problems, but we'll talk about it fully on hopefully the next episode, which should be episode 104. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this show. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Deuces. And yo, make sure you hug your dad, man. All right. Hug your dad.
God,
And if you got
this
kids,
nigga.
make sure you hug that motherfucker too. Because you don't want him to be
that's
like me,
facts.
a savage. A savage. Nigga, I'm out here. I'm a savage, dog. You know what I mean? But
And beauty comes in all ages, y'all.
that's
Right?
right, man.
Oh, yeah, like your age. Yeah, yeah, y'all.
All right, my niggas. Deuce.